Welcome to Planning Phase Syndicate. Thank you all so much for graciously joining us on the day after we normally cast. Tonight, we are going to be doing a little bit of a Valentine's Day episode. Mainly, we will be covering list analyses, however the hell you want to say that word. Because there was a tournament I found out in Washington that looks like it's mimicking Worlds. So we are going to be covering that as well as some Kyber Cup stuff tonight. This is episode 87, the Showdown of the Century. Without further ado, let me bring in my co-host tonight. Please give a warm round of applause to JJ, who needs a haircut, and Alex, whose beard is bigger than ever. Welcome to the show, guys.
What's going on, everybody?
You choose JJ, the one that needs a haircut. My hair's like my ass.
Well, I can't see your hair. I just know JJ is not wearing a hat tonight, and his hair looks like he needs a haircut.
Yes, this is true. It's been 3 weeks since I cut my hair, so yeah, I definitely need a haircut, man.
See, I'm pretty spot on when it comes to JJ's,
you know me, man.
Hair
yeah,
stuff.
You know me.
Unfortunately, which is probably a little weird. I don't know if it's weird or not, but it's probably a little weird.
Nah, it's fine. I like to keep my hair short because honestly, anything longer than this drives me insane because I feel like I'm itchy and then I start like scratching my head because I hate having long hair. So, yeah, I know.
For the people who aren't seeing this live, his hair is maybe like 2 inches at most. Like it's nothing.
Fair enough. Well, tonight we are going to be talking a little bit about different things, but first off, let's talk about how your weeks have been.
Well, for everybody who doesn't know, I've been out for the last 3 weeks, just doing some work training stuff outside of where I normally live. I came back last Saturday from my official vacation. We hit up a bunch of places up north, and I do want to give a shout out to Nutmeg Squadron over in Connecticut. I put out a call out on their Facebook page to help me out with a new player that had just had started into the game, and they had brought out a full list for him to come out and play. And I had my own list that I brought with me because every time I travel, I always bring a full list with me just so I can throw down anytime I'm out. And they hooked me up with a full list. They got him everything, the figures, everything for him, and I was to teach this guy, a coworker of mine, to play the game. And we had a blast at the store. They were streaming Heroes of the Atari Cluster, which, if you're not familiar with that, that's the homebrew RPG version of X-Wing, which is a lot of fun. If you haven't seen that or played that, highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. And thanks to everybody over at Nutmeg Squadron over there in Connecticut. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Awesome. How was your week, Alex? I think you all just released a podcast earlier last week.
We did. We're actually going to record sometime this week, too. Shocking. We're almost doing it consistently now.
I know.
No, it was fun. Just working on projects. Making some prototype alt art standardized cards. So that's going to be fun and interesting when those are done. Found a place that will print tarot size cards. So it's going to be cool.
That is awesome. What you'll have to do is share some information because we have built some cards ourselves here, and we had thought about starting our segment again where we create cards for the fun of it. So might be one of those things where
yeah,
you can help us out.
Yeah. Should be fun.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and let's just begin with our Kyber Cup discussion. We could just kind of start there. I'll transition the slide. I apologize if the internet is a little slow on my end tonight, so I apologize for that if we're a little choppy. But audio should be pretty good. Just sometimes the video goes funny. one of these days I'll have enough money to buy a computer and a better route. But anyway, so Kyber Cup is officially into Top Cut version. And if you didn't know, we didn't make it. So we obviously are not in Top Cut. There was 3 5-0 lists that made it. Then there was a sum total of almost 11 4-1s. So they're essentially what we originally thought we'd have, like 2 or 3 3-2s get in. Did not happen. All of the 4-1s kind of pushed everybody out, and then 1 3-0 with 2 draws made it in.
That's so impressive to get 2 draws.
The 2 draws,
I know.
definitely put them over the hump there for it. I'm a little confused on how some of these 9 and 6 teams went 4-1. I didn't quite understand that. Other than they must have lost some of them, but I thought you had to have 10 wins to go 4-1. So there has to be something weird with that software.
So what I imagine is that on a few of their matches, they completely swept an opposing team, and then on their losses, they would have lost completely. So I think that would be the outlier there.
All right. It must have been one of those. It's just a weird number there. Maybe some of the draws were a part of it, but because we went 9 and 6 or 9 and 5 and 1 with ours. But so some of these teams, there's a couple of teams in there that did not that just kind of squeaked in at the very last minute. And again, I don't know how that 8 and 7 got in. I don't know how they went 4-1. I guess we didn't look. I didn't look that far into the data, but these are your top 12 teams or top 16 teams that did make it in. So congratulations to all of them. I am not breaking lists down for them tonight. I did not want to go into that whole thing. I feel we will cover some of the list, I think, towards the end of the tournament in 2 weeks, but I don't think we're going to do lists right now, unless you guys had some burning desire to do that.
No, the only thing I do want to mention is that for the 5-0 teams, for the undefeated teams, 5 factions were represented across those 5 teams, which is fairly impressive. And then the number 1 faction with the biggest win rate was actually the Separatist faction, coming in with 109 wins. Which is very, very impressive for the Separatists. So I think that there's a lot of Separatist lists that are doing very well right now, that people are starting to realize are doing very well, especially with the Siege of Coruscant stuff. So yeah.
So it's I obviously didn't do super well. I did go 3-2 for the season. So a couple of them were closer matches. We will get into the Separatists. The Separatists didn't have as much Siege of Coruscant in finals as you would have thought. No. They did have hot shots and aces, though. So
yes,
there is that. As for our team, and I am going to 100% make sure this is correct, but because how Longshanks does tiebreakers, technically speaking, if you were 9 and 5 and 1 for a draw, you are technically ranked higher than a 9 and 6 loss. I have officially confirmed that it is a bug in their system, inside of the Longshanks system. So Scott was gracious and hooked me up with the guy that makes this, and he told me he will actually fix that for us. So even though it shows currently we are ranked 28th, which is 1 place better than Greg's team, just to kind of point this out there. I'm going to very much so point that out. We actually are the 23rd team, and we beat out Marcel and Will Hagwood's team from GSP, baby. That's all I care.
Yeah.
We beat out
Yeah,
GSP.
Nice.
We were 2 away. We were number 67.
Aw,
67.
tried.
Oh.
Well, who knows? Maybe with the shakeup, you might get there.
Yeah, we might go down 2 spots.
So essentially, it was if we hadn't tied that one game and had won it, it probably would have put us up out thing. But we did. We already had won that. We had already won that that series, so it really didn't help us. But anyway, that was essentially it was me. I had 2 games that I dropped, and I needed to only drop 1. So I will take full blame for us not making cut in that one. We should have easily made cut, except for my week 1 complete failure to fly the list and kill Poe because I didn't know what I was doing. But anyway, so congratulations to all the teams. I feel we did pretty decent. We had a good run. I do like the format, and I want to thank Scott so much for running something like this. So I was very excited by this type of team event. I highly encourage other people to run those. I love that that piece of it.
I definitely did enjoy this tournament. It was definitely a lot of fun playing in a team format. I'm very much looking forward to season 3 of the NCX League. The one thing I do got to say though, that it was difficult to play with people in different time zones. That was definitely the most difficult part. And I think for that, the Sector Series for GSP is probably the better way to run that kind of format. But still, I mean, congrats to all the players that participated. I certainly had a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
All right. So Asagol's team, who's in our chat, they're the team that went 8-7 and still made cut. So congratulations, Asagol. good job on that one. That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so that was kind of our. Like I said, I wanted to go through a little bit of that, just because, to me, a lot of it feels. I don't know. I like the competitive piece of it, but I feel that Scott always has a good show out. It was nice to kind of break out a little bit. This gave me practice for deciding what I want to run for Nickel City this season if I get drafted into Separatist, which hopefully that happens. Well, hopefully, I don't care, actually. That you mentioned that. I will fly any faction, but I only will take flying Separatist seriously. But it was good practice to be able to kind of flesh out what we wanted. Some of the things I thought were going to be really good for Worlds that are not. And Scott has given us a lot to think about when it comes down to, some of the some of the lists that can be flown for Worlds. I will say this does make it a little bit harder. So, for example, somebody like Alex's list, which would probably do a lot better, in a one-on-one style tournament versus getting thrown under the bus. I don't know, at least twice, you said?
Plenty of times, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of weird thing about this kind of format is that, you are selecting your matchup, so you always try to get into a more advantageous kind of matchup. So your results might be a little skewed one way or another. So if you think something might still be really good and you've done really well with it, and all of a sudden you didn't do well in this tournament, don't hold that against you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, that, like I said, that is the only downside to this, but I think it gives people the practice and it forces you to play unoptimal lists, right? And you can ask JJ and Brendan how many times I told them which lists I did not want to face because I knew it was a higher probability loss for me. And yet 50% of the time, the two of them thought it was a good idea to give me that list. So, especially JJ. I swear to God, JJ did that on purpose the last round. On purpose. He's like, I can't let Tanner have a better win ratio than me.
But
so
we won the last 2 rounds, right?
We did. We did win the last 2 rounds.
So big brain move,
Mark Robert took all of our notes into consideration and threw them right out the window and gave the exact opposite of what we asked for. So he even gave himself bad matchups. He's just like, "Oh, this was a bad matchup on my end." I'm just like, "Why'd you even change it for what we said?" But
I just feel JJ did it on purpose. He's like, I don't want to face. I told JJ the one round I had to face the Empire list that he should face it as a mirror match because I guarantee you he will win it because his play style is different than the opponent's play style, and I knew that would happen.
To be fair, I placed my faction first as usual, expecting him to throw the Empire on there, and he didn't. So there's nothing I could do about it at that point. So I just tried to play it to try to match it up, with not Empire, and it just didn't work out.
Now, in fairness, I only lost the last round, so it was not a total blowout. Yeah. So it wasn't a total F up on JJ's behalf, just a little bit. He literally just had to make sure that Tanner could not have a better record than him. He could not handle it.
That's a legitimate strategy. Don't get me wrong.
It is, especially because I had a better record than he did in Nickel City League,
That's
last season.
That's true.
So,
yeah, I was in a hell of a slump, man. Holy crap.
And actually, Alex, I will highly encourage you to join the Nickel City League Season 3. We've only played once a week, and it's great practice for Worlds. Just saying. It's free.
Yeah, I mean, it always sounds interesting. We'll have to see what my schedule will be like, but I'm always interested in playing more games. I barely get any practice anyways, so.
There you go. All right, well, let's move on to JJ's Valentine's shenanigans. Is that what we're going to call it?
Yeah, so this is Valentine's Day Love Connection here in X-Wing. This is in honor of Valentine's Day, which is coming up tomorrow, in case anybody here forgot. I hope you guys didn't. But Valentine's Day is tomorrow, so I wanted to do a little bit of a mix-up here for what we normally do for ranking pilots on scenarios. But this time including them with a special sub one to help them be better. So for this one here, we're looking at pilots and either other pilots that match up with them or crew members that match up with that pilot to help them perform better. And we'll be ranking them for those scenarios here. So for me here, to start off, I chose the Rebels. I chose Nora Arc 170 mainly because you guys just destroyed Nora Y-Wing. I wanted to give her a little bit of a redemption from last week. So I have
more expensive Nora.
A more expensive Nora, yes, for a more perfect union here. So
just wait till we destroy this one too.
So this is the hottest combo of people since Lando and L337. So this is Nora Wexley in the Arc 170. Her ability is just the same. While you defend, if there's an enemy ship at range 0 to 1, you add 1 evade results to your dice results. And C3PO crew, which reads before rolling defense dice, you may spend a calculate token to guess aloud a number 1 or higher. And if you do, roll exactly that many evade results, and you add 1 evade result. I have used this combo quite a bit for the Rebels. Nora does come in a bit pricey at 6, but she is the most consistent defender or consistent while defending, even more so than the Y-Wing version, because she is a medium base that can cover a lot more ground, so she is more likely to be at range 1. And having 2 calculates to help back her up, her ability with C3PO, you have a really good chance of potentially having 3 evades on Arc 170 at range 1, which is bananas, considering that she has 3 shields and 6 hull. And C3PO putting in there, that still leaves you a good 11 points of upgrades that you can add on to that particular ship. So you can add in Veteran Tail Gunner for a double tap. You can add in Trick Shot if you want to do that. You can add in an additional gunner there. There's a lot of things you can put on this particular Arc 170 to make it a beast. It is absolutely great. Now, ranking the ship here, we'll start off with Assault and Satellite Array. Ooh. She is S-Class. S-Class, hands down.
We're ranking them too?
Yeah, we'll rank them too.
Okay. All right, so give me a sec. I don't have that sheet up anymore because then it.
Don't worry, I'll talk through my reasoning while you pull that up here. So, Assault at the Satellite Array S class. Not only is she a medium base, which counts for 2 small bases, her ability helps her to get into the fray, survive the fray, and she still has enough punching power to punish back at range 1. Having a medium base in general is a really good start, but having a ship that can survive reliably and get a lot of evades on defense and still put out a lot of punishment is just essential if you want to succeed and outlast your opponent in assault. So for that particular scenario, I'm giving her an S for it. The next one here, Scramble. This one, I think she suffers a lot more because she does want to have that extra action to trigger C3PO reliably and not go after those objectives as much. She's still a contender to help punish those ships that go in to try to claim those objectives. But if you're looking at her to beat that objective grabber and scramble, she's definitely not going to beat that particular ship. She does have that slight advantage of still having that passive evade always if she's within that range, but she does suffer in that particular objective. So for that reason, I'm giving her just a B for that particular objective there. Going on to salvage, I'm actually going to give her an A for this one. She can grab that cargo, get those double calculates, and if she stays in the fray, she's going to be really, really hard to punch through that damage because of the consistent evades that she can get. And on top of that, just having all that extra loadout for her to have her own ability to generate crits either through 3 rolls through target locks or perhaps even adding in Ezra Bridger for like a passive force. She has a lot of different options there on her chassis, and that can make her both a threat offensively and defensively, especially if she's shooting on range 1. She can definitely be a very, very good contender for salvage. So for that, I'm giving her an A for that one. So again, Nora being able to be super defensive, retaining her point value, and being able to deal a lot of damage at range 1, which is where she wants to be. I think that she can retain her points very, very well and trade her point value very easily, and be a consistent threat and chance. So I give her an S rank for that.
Well, Nora is 6 points in Rebels, which is kind of a tough sell for one ship, especially if it's an arc, even if it is Nora, who I do super love. But that also can be like Keo and Kraken. For Assault, I would give her an A. She is a medium base. She does have a good defensive ability. But she's not particularly fast to get to other objectives if you are objective hopping. For Chance, I would also give her an A because she is, tanky. But I mean, okay. So she only has 1 agility. Yes, as Nora, yes, you add evades, but if there's no one else around you, which can happen a lot in Chance if you're trying to flank with a bunch of people, you're not going to be able to get those evades. So you still have 1 agility. Granted, you do have 9 health, so it takes 5 damage to half health you to 3 points. For Scramble, I'd give her a B, just because she doesn't really need her action if she's by people. And she has a 5, so she can recapture it from people around her, and she's pretty good in the scrum there. And for Salvage, I would give her a C, honestly. She's a 1 agility ship. It's not hard to put crits in those things. Yeah, she could be a little bit more tanky, which is why it's not like a D, but she is also a medium base. They're bigger, easier to hit. So that's what I would give her.
Well, I'm definitely not giving her an S tier, and I'm just gonna be a little dickish, I guess. She can't have an S tier because S tier to me means I would take her over the majority of the other ships. And I would not take Nora over the majority of the other 6-point ships. I can have Wedge. That's going to have a higher output damage. I'm going to take Luke, which has a lot higher output damage, in my opinion. I guess at this point, if we're going to rank them by the scenario, I will say she gets an A for assault then. So I'll go ahead and give her an A for assault just because I know arcs are very good at that. But that 6 points really hurts her, in my opinion. I will give her a C for chance. I agree if you get her in range 1, sure. But I have a question. If I outmaneuver her, C3PO, does C3PO still work?
No, because you have to have a minimum of 1 result.
Because you have to add them, right?
Yeah.
C3PO is after you roll it, so
yeah.
If you're not rolling any dice, you aren't getting the 1 that you're going to call on C3PO.
Okay. I'm going to also ask the next question of, does her ability not work then also?
No, it's after you roll dice. So it's when you roll that.
So if she rolls 0 dice, she doesn't get to add an evade.
Okay. No, she does. Yes, she does get to, because you roll 0 dice. You're still rolling the dice, just 0 is quantity. So yeah.
Okay. So for me, for chance, I guess I already what did I say for the first one? It's assault.
So assault A and chance C.
C. Yep. I would still give her a C in chance because I think she loses her points value too quickly. You have to stick her in the scrum to keep her alive, and I don't know how many people are going to joust you for it. For salvage, I would give her a C as well. I don't think she's good at salvage. I would not want to pick up a crate with her. I do agree with you that yes, you get to add the evade result, but in a high dice meta, I don't really see the similar value for it. Scramble, I will say I see her as a B in Scramble, though. You don't get to use C3PO, but if you want to be by those, it's kind of like Assault. You want to be by the objectives so you don't let her score the points. And when you're by her, her ability procs. Scramble's kind of the same way. Yes, for 1 turn, I got to take an action to take a scramble, but yeah, so I can't use C3PO, but I'm still going to add another green dice. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm getting 1 effing evade every time. And if you want to take that objective back, you got to get near there. So she's either going to be taking like a couple of range 3 shots, or she's going to be taking range 1 shots and adding evade. So personally, I kind of feel, I feel for her on Scramble, she's probably a B. And you get to add the gunner, right? You know, you still have other points. You can still have veteran tail gunner. So there. All right. So if we don't use Tanner's results, she will come in as an A-, essentially. So she's between a B and a B+. If you add my stuff in there, she does not come out over a B-. So
okay.
Okay, so my pick for this was Vizier, who's a 4-point Reaper. It's after you do your controlled ailerons ship ability, you can do a coordinate action and skip your perform action stuff. So I can assume Vizier, I don't know. I don't care what gender Vizier is. Captain Hark. That would be the one I'm pairing up with. Captain Hark is 2 charges. After you fully execute a red maneuver, if you are not focused, you can spend a charge to get a focus token. And that allows Vizier to do something like the controlled ailerons, and then coordinate someone, and then do like a sloop or a turn or a stop. They have a lot of reds, and then get a focus. So you're like cheating an action out of a Reaper, which is silly. And it's also 4 points. Vizier's 4 points. Captain Hark's 3. You still got 9 other loadout points. which is usually second sister, but seventh sister, not second sister, seventh sister.
Thank God they don't have a gunner slot. Can you imagine if you could run what's that? The Tristan, what's the gunner that puts out the strain?
Tiber Saxon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kyber
God.
Oh,
Wouldn't that be
gosh.
so
Hell
dirty? Oh,
I mean, at least Vizier is only an initiative 2, so it wouldn't be like super crazy. But yeah, that's rough. So for rankings, for assault, see, the problem is that Reapers are super good for assault. I would give it an A, and only because Feroff would be a better Reaper to take for assault. Reapers now with the errata to their controlled ailerons, they don't have to go fast anymore. So they can stop. They can one bank. If he stops, you get a focus. It's pretty strong, and you also help facilitate everything else in the rest in your list. For chance, I would also give Vizier an A. Kind of like with Nora, it is a 1 agility ship. This one has 8 hull, but it's only worth 4 points. So you half health it, you get 2. And that's putting a lot of effort, because these things can also go super fast if they need to, doing like a 1 bank aileron 3 bank maneuver. For salvage, I would give Vizier a B. Reapers are very good with salvage because they still get the aileron, because they are not actions, so you can still use it with the crate, and they can go really fast and be really unpredictable. And for scramble, I mean, I guess it's a C. You can do your action. I don't know. I guess it. I'll give it a D. You can't really. There's not much this Reaper can do with it. Your initiative 2, people can just take the objective back after you. I guess you can aileron and give out an action, but you can't like stop and get your focus while still doing the action. So a D is fine.
all right. JJ.
So I am a little conflicted on it. I am actively running Hark with on Vizier as well as Seven Sister. That has been my go-to loadout for Vizier. But my ranks are a little bit different. So I did agree with you with Assault. It's a medium base. The controlled ailerons definitely help it be a very good ship to go in and contest multiple objectives at once with the size. And I think part of making this ship effective is also knowing how to place your objectives on the board to make sure that you can get the best effect for your Reaper to be able to be put in a position where you can contest 2 separate objectives with a medium base. And if you're able to do that, then that's where the chassis really shines. The ability to do that ailerons boost to get that coordinate off easy and then set yourself off for a block position really helps the Reaper as a support ship, and it basically makes it a menace. So I do agree that on Assault it is an A. The only reason I would not give it an S is the same reason as you said, was Feroff is better. It's more survivable in the scrum. But Vizier definitely is fantastic on Assault. For Scramble, I kind of went back and forth on it. I tend to use Feroff. Sorry, not Feroff. I tend to use Vizier to grab that objective when I can, to allow the rest of my list to go and punish the Scramble contester, since they tend to not have that. But I use him a lot more offensively to start, like, give it a, like, to set up a block. I know it's outside of the combo that you set up with Hark, but being able to go in and contest an objective and then set up a block to prevent another enemy ship to contest that particular objective, I think is where it shines. It makes it more of an objective defender in that case. So for Scramble, I would actually give this an A as well, because it is low initiative. It's not likely to get bumped and be a cause for a bump to prevent the enemy ship to get that objective back. And if they do, if you have Seven Sister equipped, you can certainly punish them by either tractoring them, which is really bad, especially if you have Defender Vader or Battle of Yavin Vader in your list that can really take advantage of hitting that ship, or the rest of your list to punish that particular ship, or jam them if they happen to have a lock or if they have a focus, and you just need to absolutely make sure that they have no mods. So I think that's where Vizier shines for that there. For Salvage, I'm going to give it a B. I think that being an early or lower initiative ship that can claim an objective, or rather claim a salvage, and still use its ailerons to get away, it makes it really valuable. I've actually been able to run away pretty successfully with it. But the problem with that, with Vizier in particular, is that Vizier's ability really benefits from being next to its friendlies to constantly get that coordinate out with the ailerons. So you either lose that functionality and try to score 1 point every turn, or you can potentially get some really good damage to kill an enemy ship or an enemy carrier of a crate by coordinating those actions. So for that, I think for Salvage, I'll actually give him a C for that, because he wants to coordinate constantly in that particular objective. And at the same time, if you take a crate and run away, he's not really being the support ship that he needs to be in that particular list. And then lastly, Chance engagement. I think his low initiative hurts him, not being able to shoot and really punish. It's pretty tough for Vizier to put out reliable damage. Sure, it can go in quick and turn around and still get that focus from Hark, which I've used to really good effect. But I find myself wishing that I had a target lock most of the time, because I tend to roll blanks. So I'll actually give him a C for Chance.
All right. So I guess we don't have to harp on Assault. I agree with you. A for Assault. I think between the blocking ability, the ability to sit there, the ability to sloop in, but again, I don't know, Assault, a lot of them feel Assault seems to be the easiest, I think, objective, but that medium base just really just helps him. He does not need a friendly to be there to claim that. For Chance, I'm giving him a C. I don't think in Chance he's worth it. I agree that yes, you have to invest a lot of shots into him, but I will tell you, if I put 3 shots into Finn, I cannot guarantee that I will kill Finn in Chance engagement, and when I half point Finn, it's worth 1. I guarantee you, if I put 2 rounds of shots into Vizier, he is 100% dead no matter what. And it could be long ball shots. He gets 1 green dice. I don't know. I feel with Chance, he that lower initiative, he just gives up too much for it. I will say for Salvage, I don't know. See, like, this is a tough one, because I don't like, to me, you could pick up that crate, I guess, but are you going to lose it right away with a crit? Like, if I see a Vizier pick up a crate, I'm kind of just going to shoot that no matter who I got at range 1. I'm probably just going to shoot Vizier to save that point. And maybe that's dumb, but I just kind of feel that that's what I would do. So I would give him a C for Salvage. I guess I'm different than both of you on Scramble. I give him not a V. Yes, I give him a V for whatever. But no, I give him a B, actually, for Scramble. I don't agree 100% with JJ in the blocking of other people from getting it, but Vizier doesn't need the mods, because Vizier never gets mods, and Vizier's there to coordinate and to die. If you set your Scramble objectives up right, though, he could take one at the beginning of the opening, engagement, and let everybody else just shoot. And yes, you're going to be down 1 mod, but I feel his ability to say, I'm an I2, I'm going to take this and force you to take it back and not die in one turn is huge. Like a droid, no. Like a droid going in and scrambling and then taking 3 range 1 or 2 shots into them, yeah, that's not good. Because you're going to lose that objective and die. But Vizier, I feel if you force somebody to come in and take that objective, they're losing their mod. So he still is going to be horrible against coordinating ships like Kraken. Anytime I see Vizier opposite of Kraken, I kind of laugh. Because Kraken just eats Viziers for breakfast. So, especially when you pair them with Luke's with proton torpedoes and not Nora's. Just saying. All right. Anything else on Vizier before we move on? So I think our average rank for him is roughly a B.
Okay.
He comes out B-ish, B minus.
Sounds good.
So pretty fair support shift. All right. So my Valentine's Day one, which I did not know we were ranking pilots, so I'm a little ill-equipped here to rank the pilots. But I chose Django with Savage because they're both A from the same time period, right? So they could have coexisted together.
No?
I feel, yeah.
Django was dead. He was 1,000% dead.
No, he died in Attack of the Clones movie.
Yes.
Right?
So Voucher Press did not come into anywhere being involved until many years later.
I don't know about that. Is Attack of the Clones movie before the whole series? I don't think it is.
Yes. Yes.
But he had to
Attack of the
been
Clones
alive.
Literally started the Clone Wars.
He had to have been alive before then because he was older when we see him. So they were still alive at the same time.
Was probably about 20 years old, so he would have been like a kid.
So what? So see, still works.
I don't know shit about Star Wars, so it's up to you guys. I have 0 help in this. I found out Savage is Maul's brother.
Yes. Yep.
I know things now. That's about
he
it.
died
That's
in
all I
a
know.
pretty
He's yellow.
spectacular battle too. So
spoiler.
So if I'm running Django, 90% of the time I'm taking Savage, and I know JJ is going to disagree with me, and he can hold his tongue until it's his turn to talk. We're gonna let Alex go first before him. Just to make JJ sit there on his tongue. But Django comes in at 8 points, fire spray with 27 loadout, and the premier spot here is the fact that you get 2 illicits. 2 illicits. Not 1, but 2. And I think that really makes him a really amazing ship. On top of that, his ability is, while you defend or perform an attack, if the difficulty of your maneuver is less than that of the enemy's ships, you may change one of the enemy's eyeball results to a blank. So if you do a blue and they do a white, even if they use something to try to turn it down, it is officially Django's business. Savage ability, I will not lie and say is blank. I have 100% used it before, but you can essentially says after a friendly ship in your front arc at range 1 to 2 gains a stress or strain token, you may spend 1 force. If you do, that ship gains a focus token. You would like to know how hilarious it is to have a 404 with a focus token? I will tell you, it is hilarious when 404 rolls 6 red dice with a target lock and a focus. If you don't kill him, you will regret it. I will just tell you right now. Django does not need a force at all. He could give it to him, and you know what? 404. If he's double stressed, he doesn't care. If he has an extra strain, he doesn't care. It just doesn't matter. So
yeah, because you could do the barrel roll into target lock and then get the focus from Django, right?
Yep, and yeah, you still get it because it's a gain. You're gaining it, right? Mm-hmm. You still get the stress, whatever, or the strain.
Have you ever used Savage with Rook cast? Like giving it to Rook? Because Rook's ability to take the strain and then just get a focus. It's really silly.
That's dirty. But how do you do that? Because you can't give yourself the focus because it's a range 1 to 2.
Different ship.
Oh, okay.
Like if you have it on Boba.
I see. Then yes, that's hilarious. I never thought about that, but that's pretty good. So now we're going to rank the ship. So for assault, I give Django S tier because when you include Savage, there you go. I probably think he's S tier at assault no matter what. Django typically will contest. Django does not die. Django gets to get in there. I typically will score more points with Django in assault than I do other games. For Chance, I'm going to give him a B, and that's because he's not Boba. I don't think he's quite a C. I don't think he's quite a C, but he does really struggle in Chance because if you get half points on him, that's 4 points. That's pretty big. And he is easy to get 4 points on if you focus fire on him. Even if he is reinforced. For salvage, see, this is where this is silly because it's silly because usually you would say with salvage you would not want to pick a crate up with fire spray because you just want to boost. I'm gonna give him a B, just because I'll be honest, I pick up crates. Okay, I shouldn't say this because people are gonna use this against me. I pick up crates with Django. I do. Like it's a thing. Like I just don't boost then afterwards, and if I have to eject the crate, I don't care. I don't know. I give him a B for salvage because you still can pick it up. You have crit mitigation, naturally. And typically when you're picking that up, you're going to just slow roll in. So if I do pick a crate up with him in salvage, it is slow rolling. The other reason I say it's kind of a B in salvage is because he has the ability to protect the other ships with that focus token. On future turns, right? So the turn they pick up the crate up, no. But on future turns, you can give that focus token over to somebody like, a Tri-Fighter, which, by the way, I had a Tri-Fighter that had an evade, calculate, and focus token. So you were not going to knock a crate off of that Tri-Fighter. Just saying.
I never thought of that. That's awesome, actually.
But yes, it's really ridiculous. That Tri-Fighter, as long as it's not at like a range 1 of a 4-die shot, or at you're with all 3 of those things, you're pretty good. And at Scramble, I give him an S tier at Scramble as well. You have the native force. You're an I6, and you have the ability to essentially you have that ability to do what you want. Now, when we talk about this and we say, hey, typically people think of Django as pretty close to S tier, because he seems to be like an auto include. And that's where maybe we go back to Chance and maybe you tweak the Chance, but I have a harder time with him in Chance and in salvage than normal. I don't know. So there's my thing on Django. So who's next?
Alex, go ahead.
Okay. So, Django, I do agree with you. I do like bringing Savage over something like Dooku or Palpatine because I think that second illicit slot enables that to be much better than just having a single illicit slot and a better force crew, a quote-unquote better force crew. Because, I mean, calling a crit with Dooku, very good. False transpondering codes and also having contraband, a little bit better, in my opinion. So I do like the pairing of Savage with Django. For Assault, yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue not an A or an S tier. I would say it's an S tier. It's a medium base. Django's ability relies on it doing the slower maneuvers, the blue maneuvers. So you are keeping by the objective, much longer than other ships. Like if they come in fast to try to add more ships to the assault, so it neutralizes or take it over, they're gonna get a lot more blank results. They used to be focus results. Then just having the actions is just being by the objective is super good. I mean, their fire sprays, all of them are almost going to get assaults S tier around there. For chance engagement, I would give Django a B. You can kill these things if you focus fire them. And you have a little bit of a predictable dial with Django if you're trying to go for the ability. For Scramble, I would give it. See, that's a tough call. I would give it an S tier. You are an I6. You can take that from everyone as long as you don't get blocked. You do have the force. You do have the ability to change focuses to blanks, both incoming and outgoing. It's kind of hard to argue. It's somewhere, it's like an A+, right? And for salvage, I would actually give Django a B. And that's because I think you guys are forgetting about that Slave 1 title. Because that does generate a hit to a crit. And that's pretty good for salvage. As long as you're shooting from the front arc of your ship and your defender's back half, you can change a hit to a crit. It doesn't, you don't even have to be like fully behind them. As long as you're somewhere in there, you can bisect them and still get that crit. So, I don't really have too much of a problem picking up a crate with Django, honestly. You just have to do a little bit funkier flying. But the crit generation from Slave 1, which you're going to take no matter what, I think puts it up to a B.
All right,
Nice.
JJ.
Wow. So, yeah. So yeah, Assault. Yeah, absolutely 100% agree with you guys. At Assault, Django is probably one of the best in the game, period. Let alone CIS. There's nobody better than Django than CIS for Assault. And there is very, very few pilots that could count on a single hand that I would take over Django for Assault. Just the medium base just covers a lot of ground. You can shoot forwards and backwards, especially if you have the veteran turret gunner or tail gunner rather, equipped on Django with the title, the Slave 1 title. Django can be a menace, absolute menace in there. So yeah, definitely giving him an S for that. For chance engagement, I went back and forth on it in terms of like his effectiveness in chance engagement. He is an I6 pilot with on a fire spray that has a boost action. I think the boost is what puts him over the top for me. The boost on a fire spray is so good to help you arc dodge, and that's the crux of what makes the I6 fire spray so good, is being able to see where everybody is on the board and being able to reposition and still have that passive force to help you shoot through the tail and potentially get some damage in or kill the ship on chance engagement. So I do rank Django a lot higher on chance. I would actually give him an A on chance because I believe he can retain his points by art dodging better with that boost action and still be an effective fighter to stay in the fight and gain his points. For salvage, however, that's where I scored him a lot lower than you guys. For salvage, I believe he is a D. Now, here's my reasoning for it. I know it sounds pretty harsh, but at I6, it's going to be harder for you to get a salvage crate if it's not taken by a lower initiative anyway. Not having that ability to boost, especially if you're taking Django like towards an outward trajectory, eventually you're going to have to turn around. And if you don't have that boost, just a hard turn usually puts him out of arc to take any shots, which means that he's not going to contribute effectively. And usually in most Django lists, he is the highest output of attacks in that list. So having Django run away with a crate is definitely detrimental. Now, on the flip side, having the Slave 1 title to generate those crits if you're following somebody that has a crate is really good to have it. But at the same time, if they're facing you forward, you're not going to get that reliably. It might be an attack of opportunity that might happen, but it's not something that consistently happens where you're always going to get that crit generation from Django. So for that, I don't believe that warrants him to really bring him up there. So I think he's more of a hunter in that case, and without having Dooku crew, and that's why I'm ranking him a D as well, is just not having Dooku crew to help generate that consistent crit. really hurts him in that. So for this particular combination, I put him as a D for it because he's not contributing to getting crates and generating points, and he's not consistent enough on offense to generate crits to make those drops.
So go back. It's inconsequential for the rankings. It's inconsequential what it is, right? Like what he carries. I don't know.
All right. So if you're ignoring loadout, then he does not have a consistent way of generating crits. He needs that extra help to get those crits to make him an effective attacker in salvage.
Okay, I'm gonna leave him at a D, and we'll just go to the next one.
Yeah. So then Scramble, I do give him a B for that. He at Initiative 6, he will have a chance to contest an objective point and still have that offensive output there with the passive force and definitely do a lot of stuff. He doesn't need to K-turn often, especially when it comes to claiming those objectives. So he's able to do it consistently and shoot out the back and be a really good contributor to it. So I do give him a B for that.
All right. So JJ feels Django overall is only a B-worthy ship. Just pointing that out there, that maybe Django can come down in points. Maybe he should come down to 7 points. I think that's what JJ is telling us.
I think that should be right, and there should be certain vultures that should be a 3 point. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I will not take 3 point vultures. I will not take 3 point vultures. I will just keep taking the 2 points and give me a 7. Give me 7 point Django with 27 loadout, baby. Did you hear? Hey, Zach, did you hear that? JJ thinks Django should be worth 7 points.
Hey, if we can have a 6 point Vader, we can have a 7 point Django.
I don't think we should have either.
Stop. JJ, you're killing me. Next, do you think we should have a 8 point Boba too, with 27 loadout?
I thought you were going to say 8 point Defender Vader, and I was going to say yes, but yeah, Boba, yes.
So we're going to lower Boba's points to 8 points. No. We're going to give him
Boba is the king of fire sprays. He needs to stay at his current cost points. Period. No argument.
You want to know how many? So Zach, tell him how many times I have arc dodged his Boba with my Django, and
how many times have you beat me?
Beat you?
Your Django versus my Boba? No.
All right, fine. We'll play. We'll play with my. We'll play. You can't take into account testing lists, my friend. Yeah. How well did you do with your Boba, Ema, and Kanan list? Just saying.
If you're talking about NCX, I took it to the final and won.
No. No.
Top 4 crate cut. I mean, it's pretty good.
It's the most prestigious tournament in the world.
What?
Crate Cup is the most prestigious tournament in the world.
Well, to be fair, I mean, it was after Worlds, so I wasn't flying that at that point, but yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. In 2.5, JJ, how many times have you made top 4 with Boba, Eamon, Kanan?
Twice.
0. No, you have not.
Twice.
When?
Yeah.
When 2.5.
You're talking about with the current scenarios and objectives, right? You're
talking
about
current 2.5, point force.
Yes.
Points, yeah.
I was part of Team Havoc, and I had tied the highest winning record.
Okay.
Along with
so
Crispy.
No. We're gonna go. No. Hold on. Team events do not count where you get to pair people. That's
okay.
Those
but
are not
I'm
the
counting
same.
I'm counting my win record, right?
I don't care about that.
That's what gets me that.
Fine. Individual wins in non-team events.
Well, beyond that, really, I haven't played in any.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on.
In locals and stuff, 1-on-1. I mean, I was fairly consistent. I mean, that got me the title in GSP, and that was 1-on-1. But I don't really have a record other than 5-0 for that. But
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Boba is not. Django is not that much worse than Boba, and he is an I6.
No,
and
I'm not saying he's like he's like a terrible ship compared to Boba. No, I'm just saying that Boba
you ranked him a
has
B.
an edge.
You ranked him a B. Are you saying Boba is an S tier then?
He's probably an overall A tier, I would say.
Because of his points. If you move him to 8 points, he immediately becomes S tier.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. See, there you go. All right.
And I think that if Django moved down to 7 points, he would be at S tier. Or sorry, an A tier, not S tier. Sorry, A tier.
What?
A tier.
No, he's S tier if he moves to 7 points and keeps all his loadout. No way.
He still needs help from the rest of the list. Boba can carry.
Django can carry. You know, the first game I lost, I almost won with Django basically doing the only damage in the fucking list. So I don't want to hear about it against the Poe list. So, like, Django is very All right, this is a whole... We're gonna table this conversation.
I know. We're
you're driving me off the. Zach, I guarantee you, I've got 7 DMs from Zach saying to remove you from the podcast because, for fuck's sake, who the hell gave Django a B tier and says he should move down to 7 points? I can literally hear Zach having a heart attack. As we speak.
So if I change my D to a C, what does that make him? Does that make him a B plus, an A? What?
Well, now I got to transition back. Hold on.
Sorry, guys.
What if Boba Fett was 7 points?
No, my God! Stop!
No.
Stop! No, no, Alex. I have
glad we can all agree.
Nope, I can take you.
Right.
No.
7 points, but remove all his loadout.
No! Stop it.
But you see, there lays the difference, right? That's the point that I'm trying to make, right? Is that if you remove all the loadout points from Django and you remove all the loadout points from Boba, Boba's the better shot. Hands down.
Sure. But that's in concept, but you can't live in that. Okay, so we are going to tangent, I guess. We're gonna go down this tangent because what?
Christ, no, it's fine.
No,
Boba Fett just has an objectively better ability. That's why he's better. That's all.
He does, and that's fair. But I'm telling you right now, when you have to include loadout points with this. These rankings are based on their current loadout points. So in the future, if they correct Django and move him down to 20 points, right? We immediately, like, Django's viability immediately drops. It just does.
Yeah,
but that's
make
different.
Hard choices on loadout. Yeah.
Yes. So you still only come in at a B plus to A minus with putting him at C at salvage. You would literally have to give him a B in salvage to even come near what we're ranking.
So I had
and again, listen, and the other piece you're missing is you're only when we created this piece, it's to compare within a faction, right? Like, so comparing him to Boba, we're not saying whether he's a king, queen, that type of a thing, right? Like this is a little bit different than our chess series. This is saying inside of this, which is when we talk about why Alex and I ripped apart and disagreed a little bit on, I guess, at least me. I'll just take the blame. Why I disagree Nora Y-Wing over you is because of the fact that when you look inside of the faction for the points value and the loadout value, they're just other pieces that are better, right? And so, like, if you want to cross compare these, we'd have to create a whole new chart and then cross compare them.
Yeah, the only other comparable one would be the Gauntlet and Maul, right?
Yeah, like none of the, like, for the points value.
Yeah. Sun Fac.
Well. Yeah. Sun Fac. We could. Sun Fac would be a very interesting conversation. Like that would actually be a conversation we could have. I would rank Django a million times higher than Sun Fac, but that's just me.
I would too.
Other people would not. And they probably would be right. It was the same way as did we do Grievous? We did Grievous, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, I gave Grievous an A, whereas you gave Grievous a B plus. And we're like, again, when we go back to looking at those type of rankings in that faction, Grievous is very close to an auto include, and we could take my experience from Tanner changing Grievous out of his list to run 2 Afflex, and my win ratio went from here to here based on that.
True, but you also have less experience with the flex.
That's true, but the variability with them is just too much more compared to Grievous. Grievous has a consistency.
Honestly, if we had the stats, I would actually like to see your overall wins over a period of time with both lists and to see like how they compare. That would be really interesting, but we definitely don't have those stats. So.
No, and nobody else is running the 2 Afflex but me, it seems. Nobody else wanted to be ballsy enough, I guess, to do that.
Hey, I gotta say, you pulled out some amazing plays, man, from what I've seen. So
yeah, I will tell you, like inside of other factions, those Afflex would be totes amazing. It's just, or give them like the automatic shield upgrade. Like, okay, like there's a difference there. Then, if I got the automatic shield upgrade, I think things change a little bit with them.
Yeah,
but you got to think they weren't designed. They didn't design these with standard play in mind.
Yeah,
they designed them with scenario play. And we're just trying to break them. Django was designed with standard play in mind, mm-hmm. and they're continuing to change points based on standard play.
Yeah.
So, Alex, do you have anything to add before we move on? I know I tangent, and I apologize.
6 point
for that.
6 months. Oh, you mean slave one? The CIS boba? Yeah, sure. Nope. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. Yes. Give me a 6 point. Give it to me. Give it to me right now. Give me a 6 point boba. With the same loadout value, I will 100% take him and Django together. That's 14 points, baby.
Yeah, and you can have the rest of my collection because I will be out on this game.
Sorry, I'm not gonna let it go. That I think Django's definitely better than a B. He is almost an auto include in that faction, and I think that's unfortunate, right? I guess I have a list I'm flying right now that doesn't have Django in it. There you go. So,
you know what doesn't have Django? The top 8 at that tournament, the Evergreen Open.
That's very true.
He was probably a C in that tournament. Just saying.
No, I think people are sick of, I think people get sick of running fire sprays, right? You know? Like, if we're being honest with you, fire sprays are kind of boring to run. They're kind of diversity.
Yeah, absolutely.
But speaking of the Evergreen tournament that Alex alluded to, we found a tournament that happened in Washington that I feel we could close the show out with and talk a little bit about. Yeah. They ran a very similar style to what we're going to see at Worlds. They did 2 days of Swiss, essentially, which we need community feedback on this, right? I would like community feedback on this because I think this is weird, not having top cut type stuff, right? But I won't lie and say that this feels like something maybe we should do for Michigan GT. Like, some of me feels like this might be a fun thing to do to piss everyone off. I don't know. Ryan doesn't listen to our show, so Alex, you have to tell him to listen to our show so we could have Ryan Sanazzusi's feedback on this. But anyway, we found a tournament in Washington, and we wanted to I just wanted to cover it because I just felt that this is a good discussion going into like what's going to happen at Worlds, especially if you have to play in the last chance qualifier. You're going to have to play essentially 15 rounds to get top cut and do really well in at least 2 out of the 3. So a little bit of an update real quick into the World's last chance qualifier. They are handing out tickets right now. They have open spots up to be up to 180. So I don't remember what the original sell was. I think it was 128. So they have opened them up. JJ has until the end of the week to make a decision. Otherwise, I need a new roommate because he's going to refuse to come and hang out with me, even though you should just come and hang out anyway, JJ, and hang out with Greg. Greg's going and Greg's not playing. It would be fun.
True.
It would be a blast to get you back for Planning Facing. If you didn't know, JJ and I actually shared a room at Adepticon last year, which was pretty fun.
That was incredible. Yeah.
He probably complained a little bit to his wife about how long Tanner just likes to rant, especially once I start drinking. It's just like 10:30. Here it goes. We got to get up at 8:00 tomorrow, Chris. Yeah, I know.
What I remember is being 1 a.m. and we're putting on Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back on TNT.
Yep.
Because it's Star Wars and we have to watch it. So.
It was. We watched part of it and then I probably passed out.
Yeah,
I can almost guarantee you I passed out. I had at least probably a quarter of a fifth of whiskey in me.
Yeah.
At that point in the night. So I'm pretty sure I passed out at some point during that. But we did watch it. It was fun. I don't know. Anyway, now we're tangenting again. We'll do a Worlds discussion towards the end of the month, beginning of March. I still encourage JJ to go, but if he doesn't, I think I might have another roommate lined up. And I don't snore this year, so I have a CPAP machine.
Nice.
But anyway, Evergreen tournament. And I want to make it two things clear. This, I don't know if this was designed to be Worlds prep or not. I have no idea. I have no idea who Evergreen is, other than they are in Kyber Cup and they may cut whoever their team is. And I know that this feels like a really good test run, and it would be something that would be very fun to do in Michigan if we could ever figure out how to do that. But I just don't know if we could get the player base to come out. So, but they did 2 days of Swiss, 8 rounds. There was not one undefeated player. Everybody had at least one loss. So I thought what would be good is I put up the top 8 right here, and we could just kind of go through some of these. We don't have to so this is what I want to say to both of you. You do not need to read the list in detail if you do not want to. If it's a common list that we know, there's 0 point in us going over every single itty-bitty detail.
Yeah.
But you are welcome to go over as much or as little as you want. And we'll start off with JJ, and you could take the top player, and then we'll give Alex the shot at the second player for that.
You set that up.
Now,
I did, because you're a Republic player. I'm sorry. It's a habit. You can take. Would you like the first one, Alex? Would you like to do the first one?
I love Resistance, but no, JJ can do it if he wants. It's fine.
You can have it. All right. I just changed my mind. Alex, it's yours. You can go over it. JJ can have the other one.
Before we start, just to make sure I'm reading the records right, that's 7 wins and 1 loss for Infinity Loop.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right, cool.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
And I have no idea who Infinity Loop is, but they're there. So that's the one thing I despise Roll Better that we don't enforce at least first names. It would be really cool.
Yeah. So Infinity Loop here, coming for the top player here, ones with a resistance list. We have here Lula Lampard in the A-Wing. We also have Robbie Tice in the A-Wing as well, which is a pilot we actually don't see as much, but it's the other initiative or the other 3-cost A-Wing for the resistance there. Jarek Yeager in the Fireball, Kazuda Ziono in the Fireball as well. It's interesting that it has R2-D2 and a shield upgrade. I actually like that combination just to consistently have Kaz keep its health up so he can consistently roll those extra dice. Finn, which is a staple for the Resistance, and Merle Colvin in the R2 A-Wing to round off that list. This actually kind of reminds me of the Adepticon list that you ran last year. Just having all those bodies and all those fast ships to cover the board as much as possible. And I think this is a really good objective grabbing list. I don't really see the point of what part of the list you want to attack first. That will help break the list. I think that this is a really well-rounded list in terms of spreading out the points. and the fire, and still being able to contest objectives. So yeah, congrats, Infinity Loop.
Yeah, I really like this list. For the record, my second faction is the Resistance, so I do play them a lot. I just not as much as the Republic. I do like it. Roby and Merle with the electronic baffle is kind of interesting to me. I mean, I guess you don't really have too much other things you want to do, so it's better than nothing.
Yeah. Like, how many
You don't wanna
points does
play
Wolby
GP
have?
4.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So if you're going to run heroic, you only got 2 points left, and but what I've seen before on like Roby and Merle is Ferrosphere, and that is a pain because Ferrosphere is rough.
Yeah.
Especially for a list with a lot of sync council shenanigans. That's not fun. That's real rough.
So the question I have is like, do you think that's better? Right? Like, I mean, like, I actually kind of agree with you because, like, on Merle, you're going for blocks, right? Like, that's kind of your idea, is to go for blocks or to be in bullseyes, one of the two. Like, there's only two things Merle does. I don't even know what Wabi's. I have no idea what his ability is, I guess.
Roby? Oh, it's useless.
Okay.
After you defend at attack range 1, if the attacker modified its dice, they get a deplete.
Yeah.
All right. So some of me wonders if you're right, if that would be better. Like, I get the heroic, but you're rolling. This is my problem with heroic. If you roll 3 green dice, is heroic worth it? Right? Like, I guess maybe it's for offense. Maybe that's the idea behind it.
Offense. But I do like Ferrosphere and like Starbird Slash because that's 4 points. And you can give people strain and be a pain if they try to target lock you.
Especially Merle. Like, I think that's like a better build for Merle no matter what. You know?
You gotta be real careful with Merle though, because if you're still in their arc, you get that strain token, and that's not what you want from Merle. So,
all right, that's fair enough.
And also, JJ, well, a little disappeared. I've seen Kaz run a couple different ways. One of the ways that I've been seeing more recently is outmaneuver and Deadman Switch, which for this list might not be what you want because you have a lot of. You don't have like the heat magnet ships in here other than like Finn. But Kaz would like outmaneuver Deadman Switch and like have Finn, and then you can have like Poe Falcon and a couple other 4-point ships. Really, that's a pain. You kind of play Kaz like you would Grievous, for instance, with that kind of loadout.
Yeah.
But for this one, the R2D2 shield upgrade makes sense. I never liked that.
Yeah, I think the outmaneuver one is okay, right? Like, I don't have a problem with Kaz and outmaneuver. I have found that it has been very useful. The problem I have is if they focus fire on Kaz, he's not like gonna live like Grievous does, right? You know, like outmaneuver just is not the same on a fireball as it is on a Belbalab.
Yeah, I mean, you do a slam though. At least you can, like 3-bank slam 3-bank and really get out of there. But yeah, I mean, you don't want. It's definitely not as tanky as like Grievous, for instance.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is the that version of Kaz is the like the one that Staniszewski ran against me in Michigan GT, and that stupid Kaz lived longer than he should have lived. So
I just wiped the floor with that thing. You just shoot it a couple times and it dies. It's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like that resistance list. It's a 7-ship list, right? So or a six ship list, sorry. And I feel that like if we took this list and we took all these pieces and kind of broke them down, like this feels like a solid A list, and some of it's because of Finn, because fuck Finn. I hate Finn. But Do I
It
hate
seems
Vince
like
so
a
much?
very good list for Swiss, but not necessarily winning a tournament. That's just my
Yes.
initial reaction. But
Yep.
you win the tournament by winning all the Swiss games, so he did
That's
it
true.
right. Or she. Most likely not a she. We know this game. But I don't want to assume. Infinity Loop.
Yep. They called the list Republic or R.A. Wing Salad. Resistance A Wing Salad. All right. So the next one is Republic Love. I'm just gonna kind of, we're gonna skip over that. Like, Obi-Wan was actually at LVO. And I don't remember their record, but I know they played in the second. I don't think they were in Top Cut, but they played in the last chance qualifier portion of it. I know maybe JJ will bring those up for me so we could see what the hell who won. But I do remember seeing Obi-Wan's name come up. That's the typical Anakin Obi contrail Hawk loadout. I don't know. Nothing super fancy. This is what we saw at Gen Con. Just gonna kind of, I think we're just gonna kind of move on. And the next list by Moose Baka. And again, what I'm gonna say is I don't want to take away from anybody's list. I just want to make sure we get through the list, right? So like we've seen the list before, we know it does well. Moose Baka's list is Boy Vader, Boy Mauler, Boy Backstabber, one TIE Fighter, and Ubel with the standard Ubel loadout. Except for Electronic Baffle. I didn't know that was on the list, but it makes sense why it is. But again, this is a very standard Imperial list. This is a very good list. Jeremy Chamberlain from the Crates have ran this like you wouldn't believe.
Yes.
This is like, he's the one that made Ubel popular, I guess is what I want to say. Like, he's the first one to make cut with Ubel. There you go.
I think like Chris Allen and Paul Heaver maybe also were in that tournament. I think they all just kind of conspired together anyway. So
Yeah.
they
I don't think Paul
their
did
locals
run.
remain, so they've extensively worked on this list here locally for quite some time, and they've really done a great job at mastering the effectiveness of this list. So yeah, they're definitely.
Yeah. So the next one, the gentleman or the person is in our chat. And Alex, why don't you read the Republic list? Because this one is a little bit different. It's somewhat standard, but it is a little bit different, and it loves SOC.
Yeah, you definitely need that pack in order to play this. This is it is a 6-ship Republic list. 5 of them are from Siege of Coruscant. You get the Siege of Coruscant Click. You get the Siege of Coruscant Contrail, the Siege of Coruscant Kickback, Siege of Coruscant Wolf, Siege of Coruscant Jag, and then Stub in the Z95 with the shield upgrade, which is generally how you see Stub. SOC, the Siege of Coruscant, they brought a lot of variety back into the Republic. But that, I'm just passing evades with kickback and focus results with the rest of your list, basically, except for Stub, is always pretty strong. The not double tapping, but the veteran tail gunner on both Wolf and Jag help out a lot with the offense. Click's very good for defense. Contrail's just a pain, and the ion bombs can be very useful for control. And Stub is just an all-around great piece for 3 points. With the shield upgrade, it is 5 health. And depending on how things are shaking out, it most likely, if it's going to be shot a lot, did an even maneuver, so it gets an extra defense dice. If not, did an odd number and is going to attack you for an extra attack die. I never want to be attacked by a 4-die Z95. That just seems wrong to me. I'm intrinsically, it gets weird. But yeah, it's 6 ships, two medium bases. Like, you got a lot of speed in that list. You can get some tankiness, especially with Click and the evade from kickback. And also, Kickback has Diamond Boron missiles, so if you actually run up against people like Maul or Backstabber combo, where people are close to each other, range 1, you can actually do some extra damage with that Diamond Boron.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that the Diamond Boron on him. Like, I genuinely think that's a really good. I think that's a really balanced ship.
And you got 2 5, 2 4s, and 2 3s, so that's kind of cool. You can have a little bit of flexibility with what maneuvers you're doing, and then you got some good overlap on the 5s.
All right, so I have an update real quick. I did not know this. There was a top cut. So they did 5 rounds each day with a top cut of 4. And this Republic list won the tournament.
So wait, the top cut was on each day or on the second day?
Nope, at the second day. So they did 5 rounds the first day, 3 rounds, and then a top cut. So
that makes sense.
They just posted in the chat. The top cut was the Imperial list versus Obi-Wan. And then Infinity Loop versus I don't know how to say
Jocasta.
Jocasta. There you go. All right. I'm really bad at names. Really, really bad.
Granted, I've only read that in comics, so I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but that would be what my assumption would be.
And then the final was Mubaska, the Empire list versus Jocasta. And Jocasta won. Who's in chat? Congratulations, first place. That's awesome.
Hey, congrats.
Yeah, like so that does show you the ability to that Republic list has, which they also played at LVO, just as an FYI. I do know for a fact that was at LVO and that they played in the last chance qualifier, which hopefully JJ is looking up for us because I can't remember who won that, because I don't think we covered that week at all.
No, we didn't.
Wasn't the LVO top cut qualifier like that weird Anakin Y-Wing Republic list?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was.
It was. So again, and I will, when we talk about competing for worlds and going through things for worlds, right? This is a list or a similar style of list you will see. That interaction between the born for this, I don't care what anybody says, I think it's broken. I have a hard time with it being in standard. No offense, Jocasta. No offense. Congrats on winning, because that's the idea inside of X-Wing, but I really do have a hard time with that, and I think it's very powerful.
I have literally never used it in any single game I've ever played.
I know you don't.
Not for lack of trying, mind you. Just never came up.
I will tell you, Corey had
No, I just don't roll paint, and that's the problem.
He doesn't roll anything. He doesn't need any of the mods because he doesn't roll anything.
I don't do focus mods when you don't roll focuses on your dice.
He rolls. Alex literally rolls almost all blanks all the time. Like, seriously. The best was, so Alex and I had to play in the Michigan GT, and I literally took 2 shots into Obi-Wan, one with the Django at range 1, which I will say I did outmaneuver him in that because he did not expect Django to do that. But Grievous took a range 3. No, that was Django. Or no, that was the next round I went through the rock. But to begin with, I did not go through the rock. I wanted to kill Obi-Wan. That was my goal. But Grievous took a range 3 obstructed, outmaneuvered, but obstructed shot. And that should not have killed Obi-Wan. But he literally rolled all blank. He just couldn't believe it. Alex doesn't have good luck. Sorry.
It happens all the time. I'm used to it. It's okay.
You just need to run kickback now, Alex. That's all I'm saying.
What my highest dice luck was for this tournament? Negative 2.6. That was my highest one.
Wow,
I had 3 games where they were negative 5.5 or lower. This is why you bring, and they're skewed because I bring dedicated, so I only reroll bad results. So it's even worse than.
and then you roll into another bad result. That's like the stream game we had where that guy had stub with like 3 or 4 dice, and he literally used dedicated on all dice but one, and literally couldn't roll anything that he could use. It was horrible. It was like the worst.
You know, my Finn has been one shot by an energy shell charge, right?
Nope, I didn't know that,
Wow.
but I hope to God
The
you
first
always
time I
run
played
Finn
Finn.
against me. So.
First time I played Finn. Oh, my Finn dies in 2 shots every time I play him. It's great. I'm not
I
going to
do
get
not.
into that. I bring
Yeah, that's
elusive. I re-rolled a 1 focus result on my defense dice to add the other one for heroic, and then I heroic those into more blanks. Every time.
You're killing.
I've done that
killing
twice in
here.
one game. Twice in one game. The 2 shots that he took, I had to elusive the focus result to add the other blank for heroic, and then those were into blanks. Twice in one game. I have witnesses. It's great. Can't play.
All right.
Dies.
So let's move on from Alex's dice because we'll be here for days. It's a joke. If you've never listened to the Benchwarmers podcast, he jokes about it on there all the time.
It's real fun to see it in person. Not gonna lie, my dice are very dramatic.
I usually don't laugh. I just go, "Oh, I'm sorry that happened." Okay, did I tell you? Okay, we're really tangenting now. But when we were at Rust Cup, the last round that I played was against this like Republic list, and this guy's Anakin hits this rock, and then I shoot him, and I roll. His Anakin literally rolled 3 blanks, and I go, "I'm very sorry," and he goes, "You're not sorry." Well, I'm kind of sorry, but I'm not sorry because I want to win this. But I am kind of sorry because that's pretty unusual that a range 3 obstructed shot did that. Like I do feel bad for you, but I'm also excited that I'm winning. And you just like that shot just made it so much easier to win. But I'm sorry.
Bernstein has used these separatist dirge charge on the first round of engagement because he put dirge on a rock and then just proceeded not to roll dice at all. No evades.
That's great.
That happens to me. That's my dirge luck too. My dirge hates evades.
You want to see an interesting dirge list? The 6th place in this tournament, it has dirge and Volan Das, Grievous, and Pre-Vizsla.
Yeah, which is unique, right?
Yes, I think that's a really cool list.
I will tell you, I'm not sold on Volan Das having FTC and marksmanship. I prefer Predator.
Yeah,
Predator.
But that's just me.
What Predator and like
Deadman switch. Yeah,
I can see the false transponder. Just he's an I5, right? So
Mhm.
I mean, also he has shield upgrade for those who are unaware how much points he has. That's kind of stapled onto him. But I like the Pre-Vizsla. That's a unique thing. It's got the Mando Commandos or whatever those things are.
Mm-hmm.
And Savage.
Yep.
Which, we've talked about earlier.
This is actually one of the loadouts that JJ and I were running on Pre-Vizsla when he first came out.
How is that?
It was very effective, especially when you add in 3 Discord missiles into the mix. It's there's just so much cardboard on the board for your opponent that it's hard to. He's going to miss something. He's going to suffer the wrath of something, and your opponent has to make a choice on what's going to be his poison. So yeah.
Looking at Pre-Vizsla with Savage and also Volan Das, you can do the red maneuver with Volan, right? And then because you still get the stress, you can Savage the focus and then jettison the stress token with his ability and give the other person a strain.
Yes.
Which is really dirty. If you're ever looking for some sort of synergy in that list.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really good, yeah. It definitely helps pushing damage with those strains in there. It's just with the commandos specifically, just being able to, if you set it up correctly, you can apply a strain with a commando and then pass off a stress with Volan Das, and you have all the mods that you need to really punish a particular ship.
Yeah, it's terrifying. I don't want to go against something like that. That more people should try that out.
I will say the dirge piece I'm a little not sold on. I don't think the HLC ion cannon dirge is the way to go anymore. I just don't. But that's just
I agree.
That's just my personal opinion. In a 4-ship list, it might be better because you can ionize somebody in front of Pre-Vizsla, right? And maybe that's better than not. I don't know. So I like that list. Separatists in top 6, baby. They're 6 and 2. Also, notice here we had a top cut of 4, but there was 4, 5, 6 and 2s. So
yeah, that's
Pretty
interesting.
yeah. So 5th place was a resistance list. It's nothing super fancy other than Merrill has crack shot.
Oh, that's a high offense list. That's Predator on Finn. That has outmaneuver cast. That's crack shot on Poe. And this is the Flyboy Poe. It's got crack shot and baffle. So he's just getting in there.
Yeah.
Also,
he don't care about. He wants to murder you.
Yeah. You can baffle off that black 1 ion token, and that's real dirty.
Yeah.
And Jarek has marksmanship, cluster missiles, FDC, target computer, and Merle crack shot. That's just like front load all the offense and try to figure out later on. I like that list.
Yep. So let's go into 7th place. JJ, your favorite S tier ship that you think is better than Django by 2 grade levels is Boba.
I said A tier, by the way.
No, you didn't. You said S tier.
No, I said A tier. I said that if he was 8 points, then he would be S tier. Yeah. But anyway,
I just know that I can edit it to make you say that. So you said it. It's the way it works. Go on.
So we got the notorious trio here, pioneered by Cam Murray, Boba Fett in the Fire Spray, Rook Cast in the Gauntlet, and Kanan Jarrus. Enough said. 2 very tanky ships in Boba and Rook that also have a lot of offense with their abilities. And Kanan Jarrus is the support ship that helps them survive. This is a lot of beef to go through, and they can consistently hit you back. Not much for objectives, but this is definitely a kill list. This can go in and just punch very, very hard. And it's a slugfest every time you face off against this list. It's whether or not you're able to kill them faster than they can kill you. So yeah, very, very good.
Why burnout thrusters?
I was going to say, it doesn't have seismic charge. It has burnout thrusters, which is pretty interesting. It's just 6 points is rough. But, I mean, you can slam, get out of jail, or be super aggressive, right? I mean, I guess you could.
Yep.
Do something like a 4 straight slam, 4 straight.
Yeah.
Can't shoot that turn, but you can go places.
Or he can grab a crate and then burn out slam.
You can't slam when you have a crate.
Oh, I thought you just boosted barrel.
You can't boost barrel,
right,
slam, or cloak. Yeah.
Oh, the slam. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, good try. That'd be awesome. If you look at your opponent dead in the eyes and tell them you're doing it, they're not going to question you. Regardless if you break the rules or not. No one knows the rules for slamming ships with salvage. It's a medium-based ship. They're going to be like, oh, your Boba Fett has slam. That's cool. Oh, you
so JKS says
what a shame.
You could take a deplete to get rid of the disarm
for
burnout.
Oh yeah, I mean you could. That's what burnout thrusters does. Yeah. So,
yeah.
If you did want to take a shot that turn, if you did do like a 4 straight into someone, you can just take the deplete.
Can you imagine Boba just getting range 1
on the first turn of the game?
All these other ships. Yeah, I can't shoot 4 dice, but I could do 3. I don't know. Damn it. All right, no. Let's move on. 8th place was whatever OPSCKGD. JJ, what Republic or Rebel list did they bring?
So, Rebel Alliance list here with Han Solo, the Battle of Yavin version. This is the cheaper Han. He's 7 points. Coming in with the classic Tycho, Telhu with Concussion, Composure, Elusive, and Ion Cannon. Iron Kraken in the Z95. Keo Venzi and Derek Clivian in the RZ1 A-Wings to round off this list. I gotta say, I've been flying against a lot of the Battle of Yavin Hans. It is definitely very different than the traditional Han, but for its points and what it can do, it can definitely help out the its ability to spend charges to rerolls still makes it an effective attacker, and then being able to coordinate after is really good as well, to help get one of the other ships into to range one, or set up a plasma torpedo shot for Iron, or concussion shot for Psycho. It has a lot of different handles that it could pull to help make the rest of the list a lot more effective at Initiative 6 and engaging Initiative 6. And the other ships are just very, very good at grabbing those objectives. So yeah, very good list.
All right, moving on to 9th and 10th place. I don't even remember how many places we went, but 9th and 10th place.
The 9th place one is pretty cool. I enjoyed this one.
All right, well, tell us about it, Alex.
I have a soft spot for silencers. I blame Cody, but I do. This is a first order list with 2 different silencers, both Rush and Recoil. It also has Ember, Malorus, and Scorch, so it's a lot of high offense. Rush has Lone Wolf, Fanatical, and Sensor Scramblers. And Recoil has Predator, Sensor Scramblers. It's pretty much what you normally see. Ember has Proud Tradition and Pattern Analyzer, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I get that you get the whole focus lock combo, but I'd much rather have Elusive, because there's no other way that I'm gonna. I mean, if you take a strain for its ability, that's not good. You want to have some sort of built-in defense, in my opinion. I don't do a lot of red maneuvers with BAs. And Malorus has cluster missiles, which you do see a lot as that, or Mag Pulse. I'm always a little bit more a fan of a Mag Pulse missile, just because I like control on my list, but I can see why you would want cluster missiles.
All right. I do like that list. I'm not sold on Rush, though, I guess. I don't know.
Well, Rush maybe can be like a bastard.
It can, I guess, yeah. And it's got Lone Wolf, so it's obviously flying separate from everybody else.
When you get him behind you with his ability at I6 with a reroll and also Fanatical, ugh, it's brutal. There's not much you can do about that. Double reposition and a native reroll and a focus mod.
That is true. All right, 10th place we have, and this will be, we'll look at the next 2, but after 12th place, we're definitely done for the show. This is a very interesting Separatist list. Volandos with Deadman Switch, Elusive Shield. I would swap out Elusive for Predator, but that's just, again, me. This is just more defensive version. Then they have 81 with Discords, Iron Assembler with the energy charges. Then they have DGS 047 with Kraken and Grievous crew, because no way are we going to put Grievous in this list. We're going to put Cad Bane. We're putting Cad Bane. Why is Cad Bane in this list? Why?
Did you see that Cad Bane has Django crew? Do you know what Django crew does?
You spend a target lock to change to a blank.
You can spend a target lock to use Django's ability.
Like, what? Yeah. I mean, maybe there's probably not any other 3-point crew, right? I don't know. I would take
I would take freelance over that, honestly. You're getting roughly the same effect.
Yeah, or that too. I don't know. I would love to see somebody fly this list. So, JJ, you can fly this list for Worlds. This is the Kraken thing, though, baby.
No. Did you also see that Cad Bane has Discord missiles?
Yes! I don't know how that works.
It has overtune modulators. You could shoot it off with
my God.
Discord.
Yeah, that was going to say, you use overtune to actually enable the Discord missiles, but in defense of the HMP with Grievous, you have a couple of ships, specifically the Vultures, that can die easily, and since this is your Kraken carrier, Grievous helps you cancel those damages, right, that you're going to get onto that carrier, and in effect, it helps keep those calculates on the rest of your ships, so that way they can be more effective that way. So having Grievous on it is just a good way to just have that extra protection on that tech droid carrier and help out the rest of the list. It's kind of like a symbiotic relationship.
But the vultures also have independent calculations, so they're just getting 2 calculates anymore. Do they need 3?
I mean, sometimes, yeah, especially if they have like energy shell charges, and sometimes you need those extra calculates.
Is Kraken somewhat for Cad Bane too? Right,
Just
so you can keep the
continuously
green
give them a string
tokens.
at the end of the round.
Yeah, I don't know.
You just
I'm
hold
just
on to it.
asking. I'm just asking because you don't discard them. You don't have to take the action next round. You can use them for proton cannons. Okay, I don't understand the Jango Fett, but I'm not super opposed to this build a little bit now. Because you get the proton cannons, right? You keep your calculates. You can use them on offense next round. You could take a focus if you want. You could take a target lock now. You could do the barrel roll without stress. You could take a fucking evade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not opposed to that piece. The Jango Fett I don't like, but
yeah, Jango Fett, I agree. I think it's just a filler upgrade at that point.
yeah,
You gain a
or
strain
elusive.
at the end phase for every green token you have once you use Overtuned. So if you hold on to the calculate with Kraken, you're just holding a strain token.
No,
from it every
no, it's
round.
for everyone you have to discard. So if you hold on to them, you don't
Well, I guess
discard
that's
them.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
My mistake.
That
is so weird.
It is definitely weird, but I won't lie and say that, like, all right, that's kind of that's kind of cool, right? I don't disagree with that piece of it either.
I can respect the jank. Don't get me wrong. I just that's a wild Cad Bane build.
Yep. Somebody run this and tell me if it's any good. I don't. Somebody run this.
I never thought in my life I would ever get discorded missiles from Cad Bane. So if he did that to me, I'd just be like, oh, I guess
I'm pretty sure their opponents didn't expect it either.
All right, Alex, our next goal is to do this, and you to be on stream. Go, damn it! I forgot Cad Bane had discords. I bet you the opponents say that every time. Like, oh, he has discords.
This feels like a hexiled like bounty list, right? Like
it does.
Get a discord off of Cad Bane and make it deal damage.
I will specifically bring Jam and look at them, Jam off their calculator, and be like, "No, you're not discording this. That's the only source of calculators. Have fun."
Yeah, but he's got 3. You can't jam all 3 unless you're Nightfall. You have to bring Nightfall to ruin this list.
Oh, I don't even know. I love it.
This is. I'm sorry.
I love it.
I'm gonna. It's hard to spend 5 points on that. I'll be honest with you. I could just bring Grievous and feel better, but I like it. I'm gonna say I like. Hold on. Can I get rid of? There's got to be a way to fix this. Anyway, let's keep moving on because it's almost midnight and I'm ready for bed. The next list is a first order list. Which one of you wants to go through the TIE BA and Agent Tyranny list?
Gross. Tyranny is gross. Only because I play a lot of Republic, where just fucks the entire faction right over. It's great. Love it. Yeah, it's a first order list. It has Agent Tyranny with Fanatical, Crack Shot, Pattern Analyzer, Tactical Officer, and Hux, which is pretty cool because the other ships on this list are 3 VAs. So you can Hux all of them as long as they do all the same actions. You have Ember with Proud Tradition, Pattern Analyzer, Von Reg with Proud Tradition, Daredevil, Pattern Analyzer, Prockets, and Munitions Failsafe, and Hollow with Proud Tradition, Prockets, and Baffle. Interesting that Hollow doesn't have the Pattern Analyzer on there, but that's fine. Maybe. I'm not the one who built this list.
It's cool. It's different. You don't see 3 TIE BAs on the ground almost ever.
No, maybe there's a reason for that. No,
I don't know. They came in 5 and 3. They were in 11th place.
No, I love BAs. Like Ember, very quality piece. I like it a lot. I love Hollow. Von Reg I have a problem with because that's a lot of points that you have to invest in the Von Reg.
All right. JJ, who was 12th place?
In 12th
in our
place, we had
tournament here?
Nitro Benz here, flying the Separatist Alliance here. We got a 3-ship list here with Django Fett in the Fire Spray, Dirge in the Rogue class, and Aura Singh making an appearance here in the Fire Spray. That's the Force carrying Fire Spray there to round off that list. Definitely like it a lot. We tested this particular loadout, I believe, me and you, Chris, this loadout, and it did pretty decently. Aura Singh still feels like it needs a little work, I think, but still, 2 Fire Sprays, always a force to be reckoned with. It can definitely do a lot of damage out there, but yeah, pretty decent list.
Yeah, the only difference is we did not have Prockets on Django. Like, we never have ran Prockets on Django, ever.
See,
I mean,
that Django
it's probably
doesn't have
good.
a Force crew, which is interesting. It has Bo-Katan instead, and Bo-Katan works with Prockets. It's just when you perform an attack, it's not a primary attack. He's also 6 points, which is a little bit weird, but I would love to Procket someone.
Yeah, with Django.
Django.
Can you imagine?
It's
Can
fun.
you imagine Django 140ing, taking the focus token, procketing you, turning one of your green dice down, taking a big middle finger that says, "Hey, baby." I don't know. Yeah, we did play around with this. We did not have Prockets on Django though.
Yeah, no.
That was, I'll be honest, that's the one thing we did not have. But we had played around with the Bo-Katan quite a bit. And I don't know. Django can be built so many ways. It just kind of almost feels like he's an A-tier ship overall. But we have these 3 ships we did play around with quite a bit. We did play around with this quite a bit. So
You played around with Aura Singh?
yes.
What was
Yes.
your conclusion? Just not worth the 8 points total? Or
It's hard with 3 ship lists in objective play. That's our conclusion. I think the list puts out a lot of damage. And Aura, I'll tell you what, I've gotten Aura Singh's ability off a lot. Like a lot. Like not using the Force for Force and actually using it for her ability. I will tell you, when you switch a stress token to a ship that does not want to have 2 stress, you make people very, very angry. Like tilted angry. Like
Yes.
I had a guy rage quit on TTS on me because of that.
and
Now it didn't help. They got Panic Pilot on top of it and ended up with 4 stress. But still,
I do like if you're not bringing Grievous, but also you're bringing Dirge, just to shove Grievous onto Dirge, because that just it's a pain to kill that Dirge, because he's already eating stuff with Grievous, and
Yes.
then he comes back.
Yeah, Grievous crew is an underrated crew in my opinion as well.
I don't think he's underrated. He's very good. It's just no one runs him because you should be running Grievous Pilot
There you go.
instead.
Underutilized
Underutilized.
pilot.
Yeah.
There you go. In this list, I think like here in JJ's world, when they lower Django to 7 points, I can actually run Django, Grievous, and Aurora. I'm just saying, like, I will win worlds with that. Let me bring that, and I will win worlds. Only me though. No one else can run that. No one else.
Yeah, I was
Just
gonna say,
Tanner.
what are you gonna do when somebody brings the mirror?
Nope. No. Just Tanner. AMG, make an exception for Tanner to run that one list and let me win worlds. I probably won't win worlds. I'm not that good. All right, so we're gonna move on. The last 2 lists, where the Earthworm brought a Ray and Poe X-Wing, Jaeger, and BB-8. It's a pretty decent list. Nothing special about that. I hate Finn crew. DB Hookman. This is a somewhat interesting Separatist list. It has 3 droids, 3 bombers, and Grievous. They're all bombardment drones, and I will say they are 4-1 in Kyber Cup right now. So they essentially, even though they're 5-3 here, they are 4-1 in Kyber Cup. I think this list has legs as well. This is okay. If we're gonna talk Worlds list, this is on one of my short lists. For lists that fits my playstyle, that doesn't have Django in it. Even though we just ranked Django an A. But this list, I feel, I do feel this list has legs, and this list is a little bit dice dependent, but this list can just murder things. You can also take 2 of those separatist drones and make them a dirge if you want. So you do a lot of things, but I like this list. I think it's good. And congratulations to everybody that went 5-3. Seems like it was a fun time to be had by everybody. So,
absolutely.
With that being said, thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you, Alex, from Bespin Benchwarmers podcast. If you would like to check them out, their link is always in our description. You can listen to them not talk about me at all, or invite me on their show either. And you can listen to them. You can listen to them talk about, and this, guys, I don't even understand why you said certain things. I just finished listening to your podcast, and like you guys said some crazy things, and then complained about Vader. But you did get right that I don't think Jason Stumbo's list is a list for Worlds, but I will say that. But it was, if you want to listen to a entertaining time, especially you guys have Mark on. I don't know what it is about Mark, but every time that guy talks, I just laugh. I love that guy. He's one of the locals from over here, so
he tries to be nice.
He does, and it's funny. Like, you guys talk about a secret chat that, like, you've mentioned this, but this chat is not available to the public. So, like, you should stop mentioning things. Like, if I talk about our private chat, I will post things. There's nothing in our private chat I won't say publicly because I'm a dick. But like you guys keep talking about these private chats, like, oh, Stan Azuzi said this. It's like, well, where's his hot takes? Because he sure as hell didn't give it on GSP. I'll tell you that.
They brought that guy on. That's why he didn't do it.
I'm sure. And like, I don't know. Respect to Jason or to James Stumbo for messing with the meta. Congrats on that. That's hilarious and genius. We talked about that last week on our LVO coverage, but I will say that tactic will probably not work at Worlds for very long. If we know you're going to cloak the whole time, we're just going to shoot them apart.
That's a long con. Everyone's going to assume that he cloaks, then he does the 5K proton torpedo shot.
Yeah, that's exactly. I was saying he's set the stage to mess with your minds already from LVO. So I don't know. I think it's a contender.
There you go. I think JJ should run that list. That's JJ's new list that he's going to run.
And I'm running Empire, man. If I make it, I'm going Empire.
I know. You keep telling me to run CIS, but it seems like Empire is stronger than CIS, except for in Kyber. But
I don't know. 7 of those top 8 lists had the Empire, and I think there's only like 3 or 4 CIS lists in the top 8. But no, depends on the people, I guess.
Yeah. Well, then that strict rule of never running the same faction in a row when I'm going for like tournaments and stuff. So.
Well, you know me, I seem to only fly one faction, I guess. So if anybody would like to buy some other factions off me, I own every faction and almost every ship in the game, plus multiple copies, minus the hard to get ones. So if anybody wants to buy some other factions, I'll happily sell them because I obviously never play anything but CIS, it seems. All right. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you all for listening to our long ball tangents tonight. If you have anything else you want to submit to the show, you're welcome to message us here or message us on Discord. Thank you for the follows, the subscribes, the likes, anything you can do to contribute to the show. We will be back next week, Sunday, this time, at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. we don't have Kyber Cup to play, so hopefully we'll get some stream games in, though my work schedule has been, I don't know, my work schedule is just horribly insane right now. So, but hopefully we'll be able to get some stream games in here shortly as well. 2 other updates. The first one is they have officially leaked store champ kits. We will not cover them tonight because it was leaked this morning, and I did not have time to prep for it. We will have that conversation next week on Sunday about the leak and if they make anything official, which I'm hoping they do, because there was a leak. So I'm hoping we get an official news. If not, we will be talking about the leak for Store Champs next Sunday, as well as a continuation of the series. I've told us we were going to continue for 2 times now. That we will talk more about archetypes next week. I promise it. I promise it, or everybody who watches us live will get a free promo card. So it will happen. Or you all get promo cards, I guess. So
Can I be included in this? Can I derail the conversation so we don't do it and they get free promo cards?
Well, it's only 1, so yes. And it's very cheap for me to give you a promo card because I see you every couple of months.
And next week on Playing Face Syndicate, Alex will tangent now.
Hey. So, side tangent, if you had ever listened to any of my other podcasts, that's like what I'm known for. That's the gimmick. Like, just never, like, I'm usually pretty scripted, but tonight was, JJ just pissed me. JJ got under my skin tonight, so it became side tangent hell for us. And if I don't stop now, we're just going to go for another half hour, me bitching about JJ's Django ranking. So.
I will let our regular viewers know, this is something I've said before a few weeks ago, that we're planning to do the next Playing Face Syndicate Showdown. It's going to be held in Durham, North Carolina, over in Atomic Empire. We're still trying to nail down the dates. I am in the works right now to see if I can make that a store championship, so that way the Playing Face Syndicate Showdown the winner of that will end up getting an invite for Worlds for next year. We haven't confirmed that as of yet, as we're just getting this information now for all the World stuff here, but we'll be announcing it on the podcast soon, and we'll have the dates nailed out. So if you're in that area, in the Carolinas area, or if you're anywhere and you want to come and fly down, come and have a great time, and we'll love to see you guys over there.
Yeah, it'll be May, June, or July, and JJ doesn't get to pick the date this time until I confirm it. So I'm officially announcing I will overrule anything he says until I get to be able to fly down there. So I have literally saved my airplane miles to fly the CJJ down there, and he's gonna have to like put me up on his couch or something because I'm poor and I can't afford to spend $200 a night in a hotel. But we will stream
I got your transportation too. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it will be streamed. I guarantee you it will be streamed. We will figure that piece of it out in some way, shape, or form. And maybe Alex and I will take a road trip together. Maybe we'll just bring Alex with us.
I mean, that'd be a little fun just to go.
I think it's only a 7-hour drive from your neck of the woods. So that's not that bad. It's 9.5 hours for me. So 7 for you. I drive to your house. We leave in the morning. I don't know. We could do this in 4 days. I think we could do it. So, you could play if you want. I'll stream and commentate. I promise I won't try to steal anybody's World's invite. I'll just go to stream. So anyway, we will announce more as we hear about it. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern with more Playing Face Syndicate. Have a good night, and we'll see you later.
See ya.
Thank you.
And Jangle Fed is in an A tier.